Welcome to the channel. Here are 20 mind-blowing facts you probably didn't know. Fact 1. The country with the most French speakers is not France, but the Democratic Republic of Congo. The DRC has a population of over 95 million people, and French serves as its official language. It is used in government, education, media, and business, making it widely spoken across the country. Fact 2. Since 1967, every temporary transfer of power from a U.S. president to the vice president under the 25th Amendment was due to the president's colon treatment. Ratified in 1967, the 25th Amendment provides procedures for transferring presidential powers if the president is unable to discharge their duties, including during temporary incapacitation. 3 instances of temporary power transfer have occurred. In 1984, Ronald Reagan temporarily transferred power to Vice President George H.W. Bush for approximately 8 hours. In 2002 and 2007, George W. Bush temporarily transferred power to Vice President Dick Cheney for a few hours. All 3 instances of a U.S. president temporarily transferring power under the 25th Amendment have indeed been related to colon health procedures, specifically colonoscopies or related treatments. Fact 3. In 1926, Nikola Tesla predicted modern cell phones. During an interview with the New York Times, Tesla discussed his vision for a future where wireless technology would enable people to communicate instantly and irrespective of distance. He speculated that, in this future, humans would be able to have conversations with the clarity of a face-to-face meeting through wireless means. Fact 4. In 2007, the Parliament of the Balearic Islands, an autonomous community of Spain, passed the world's first legislation that would effectively grant legal personhood rights to all great apes. This included the right to life, the prohibition of torture, and protection from arbitrary deprivation of liberty. The law was inspired by the Great Ape Project, an international movement founded in 1993 by philosophers Peter Singer and Paolo Cavalieri. The Balearic Islands legislation applied to great apes within its jurisdiction, such as those kept in zoos or research facilities. It prohibited activities that would harm or exploit great apes, such as using them in circuses or for medical experiments. While other countries and regions have laws protecting animals, this legislation was notable for explicitly framing protections for great apes in terms of legal rights akin to personhood. Fact 5. Despite being a NATO member, Iceland has not had a standing army since 1869. They have had a defense agreement with the United States since 1951, though the U.S. has not had soldiers stationed there since 2006, and they have defense agreements with other NATO countries. Fact 6. James Cameron directed both the first movie to have a budget of at least $100 million, and the first to have a budget of at least $200 million. In 1994, James Cameron directed True Lies, the first movie to have a production budget of at least $100 million. Its groundbreaking action sequences and special effects contributed to its high cost. Also directed by Cameron in 1997 was Titanic, which became the first movie with a reported production budget exceeding $200 million. Its elaborate sets, cutting-edge special effects, and extensive production efforts made it the most expensive movie of its time. Fact 7. Project Iceworm was a covert U.S. military plan in the late 1950s to build a network of underground tunnels and launch sites beneath Greenland's ice sheet. Before fully committing to Iceworm, the U.S. military built Camp Century in 1960 as a test facility. This facility housed scientific experiments, military operations, and a small nuclear reactor for power. The Greenland ice sheet was found to be too unstable due to its shifting nature. The ice movement and structural instability rendered the tunnels and potential missile silos impractical. By 1967, the U.S. abandoned Project Iceworm due to these logistical and environmental challenges. Camp Century was also shut down. Over time, the underground structures collapsed due to the dynamic ice movement. Today, Camp Century is buried under ice. Fact 8. Pandas are one of the few animals with a pseudo-thumb that functions like an opposable thumb. But the thumb develops from a wrist bone, so when looking at pandas it looks as though they have 6 fingers. This adaptation helps them grasp and manipulate bamboo, which is their primary food source. If you enjoyed the facts so far, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you'll know when we post a new video. Fact 9. Cathode ray tubes, the technology behind old TVs and monitors, were in fact particle accelerators that beamed electrons into screens to generate light and then images. In a particle accelerator, charged particles, such as electrons, are accelerated to high speeds using electromagnetic fields and then directed toward a target or used in experiments. Fact 10. There was an 80-foot stunt fall without airbags. During filming for a 1975 movie, Joe Powell, as a stunt double for Sean Connery, performed a stunt as a rope bridge was cut, falling 80 feet onto a pile of mattresses and cardboard boxes. This stunt was significant not just for the height of the fall, but also because of the lack of modern safety equipment like airbags, which were not commonly used at the time. Fact 11. The Permian-Triassic extinction event that occurred approximately 251.9 million years ago is considered Earth's most severe known extinction event. 57% of biological families, 83% of genera, 81% of marine species, and 70% of terrestrial vertebrate species became extinct. The Permian-Triassic event is often referred to as the Great Dying due to its catastrophic impact on life on Earth. The exact causes are still debated but are thought to involve a combination of factors, such as massive volcanic activity, global warming, and reduced oxygen levels in the oceans, leading to marine extinctions. Fact 12. Before purchasing or registering a car in Japan, the owner must provide proof of a designated parking space. This is typically a certificate or document from the owner of the parking area, whether it's a private space or a rented spot. This rule is part of Japan's broader effort to maintain order in its crowded cities, and it is linked to the Road Traffic Act and vehicle registration law. It helps limit the number of cars on the road in already densely populated areas, and encourages the use of public transportation. Fact 13. Yemenis spend an estimated 14.6 million man-hours per day chewing khat. Khat is a plant whose leaves contain stimulants that produce mild euphoria and stimulation when chewed. It is a part of the culture of Yemen and many East African and Middle Eastern countries. A large proportion of Yemen's adult population spends 3 to 6 hours daily chewing khat, particularly in the afternoons and evenings. When aggregated across Yemen's population, this accounts for millions of man-hours daily. Fact 14. James Madison wrote a draft of George Washington's first inaugural address. While Washington made changes to it, the majority of the content and structure came from Madison's pen. Then he wrote Congress's response to that address, and then he wrote Washington's reply to the response. Fact 15. The concept of punctuated equilibrium in evolutionary theory suggests that evolution does not always occur gradually and continuously, as traditionally thought. Instead, it can occur in rapid bursts followed by long periods of stability or little change. This theory helps explain why the fossil record sometimes lacks smooth, continuous transitions between species. Fact 16. Isaac Newton was born on Christmas Day, December 25th, in England in 1642. However, a baby born on the same day in France would have a January 4th birthday because there were two competing calendars at the time. In 1642, England and other parts of the British Empire was still using the Julian calendar, which was 11 days behind the Gregorian calendar used by most of Europe, including France. Fact 17. Leprosy was once thought to be a disease restricted to humans, but discoveries of 9-banded armadillos and now Eurasian red squirrels as potential reservoirs have expanded the understanding of the disease. While 200,000 new cases are still recorded annually, the exact mechanism of transmission remains unclear, and more research is needed to fully understand how leprosy spreads. Fact 18. Eumillipes Persephone, discovered in 2021, is indeed the millipede with the most legs on Earth, boasting up to 1,306 legs, and it is the first millipede species known to have over 1,000 legs. This remarkable species was found deep underground in the Australian outback. This discovery is important because it not only sets a record for the number of legs but also contributes to the study of underground ecosystems and the diverse wildlife that thrives in these environments. Fact 19. In the 1990s, a man gained an edge on a Spanish casino by recording roulette wheel results and analyzing them with a computer. He was able to predict certain numbers were more likely to hit next. After he won 600,000 euros, a legal case against him was unsuccessful. It ruled the casino should fix its wheel. Fact 20. In Japan, condoms were originally made from tortoise shells or animal horns, and only covered the head of the penis. The Dutch traders who arrived in Japan in the 17th century introduced condoms made of fine leather. These leather condoms were a significant improvement over the earlier versions and were more durable and effective in terms of providing protection during intercourse. And there you have it, fact finders. We've journeyed through some of the most fascinating and surprising facts that have shaped our world in unexpected ways. From ancient innovations to modern marvels, it's incredible to see how humanity's creativity and resilience have propelled us forward. If you enjoyed this deep dive into these intriguing facts, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see more content that sparks curiosity and expands your knowledge, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and keep discovering one fact at a time.